Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and after playing Arena for like 3 hours yesterday while testing a new deck, I'm convinced that Standard Constructed cannot possibly get any worse or any less friendly to deck building of any kind, any level of creativity, or just... It can't get more toxic, it can't. But I suspect that today's M21 spoilers will completely and utterly disprove that. So first up, we've got Canopy Stalker, maybe. Gotta love the translated ones. So it's a 4-cost 4/2 cat, and it must block if able. And when it dies, you gain 1 life for each creature that died this turn. I have no idea what deck would possibly generate a condition that would make you want to play this. Mono white life gain, Selesnya Flood, literally nobody plays that. Next up, Falconer Addapt. I think this is a reprint. Is 2/3/4, and when it attacks, create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying that's tapped and attacking. Wow, how exciting. Next up, we've got probably another blue-white flying card. They seem to have gone completely batshit crazy with that in this set, along with white life gain. We got it's 2/2 for 2 flying. Creature spells with flying to cast cost 1 less to cast, because why shouldn't they? And whenever another creature with flying under the enters the battlefield under your control, Watcher of Spheres gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This is the same problem as white life gain. There's like 18 cards that you would want to put into the deck, but you can't. You're probably going to run maybe 12 unique cards tops. So now you get this agonizing, like, what the hell do I cut? They're all perfect. Too many cards, way over supporting certain decks in certain formats. I don't know what they could have possibly been thinking. And blue-white flyers is not even a new thing. They like skipped an entire set and then came back to it. I don't get it. Plus, that whole deck is still one giant board wipe away from failing, so then you gotta run like 8+ counter spells, which ruins the entire deck, because you don't want, 8 non-tribal cards in a tribal deck where you just like all-in super blitz creatures. The standard environment is just so toxic you can't even build anything right now. It is so annoying. I literally built a 100% hexproof indestructible deck, and it doesn't matter because tier 1 is just all sack effects and board wipes. You got like Liliana, Doom Foretold, and then just every board wipe. And then like literally any other deck, I run them over like they're not even there. Like they might as well have not even showed up to the game. It's just really degenerate rock, paper, scissors. It's so stupid, and my main problem here is they have such interesting looking creatures and some, some overpowered crap, but some where it's like, oh, that would be fun to build a deck around, except you can't. You literally cannot do it. You cannot just build something that looks super solid and really interesting. You cannot do it. I took the reported standard tier 1 meta and mixed it with what I'm seeing density-wise, in the highly competitive leagues on Arena. And I would say against 2/3 of them, you cannot possibly hope to win with an army of creatures. It's just not going to happen. So any interesting looking tribals or creatures, like dogs, cats, birds, anything, you can't play it. Oh, fun, interesting looking card, you can't play it. Oh, that deck archetype looks, interesting. I haven't played something like that. I want to try that. Nope. Not right now. Nope. That's why if I seem a little bit unenthusiastic and kind of pessimistic about these spoilers, it's because they're all dead on arrival. And then we just keep seeing tier 1 deck upgrade, tier 1 deck upgrade, tier 1 deck upgrade. Oh look, Red Rush got worse. Oh look, this control deck just got worse. Oh look, a more effective way to remove creatures. Oh, wonderful. Oh good, Rakdos has an even quicker, more efficient sack outlet. Woo! Oh look, Red Rush got a half turn quicker. Good for them. It's a deck building game. I like building decks. You like building decks. But you can't right now. And you know what? At a certain point, they're going to realize that nobody's building anything on Arena except for one broken tier 1 deck and they're just playing with it, getting bored, leaving Arena, and then also not spending any money getting more wild cards because they literally do not need them. And not to mention just the mountains of people just leaving Standard, and thus obviously completely leaving Arena. These stupid, careless mistakes in game design and in power creep are going to cost them so much money, and it's going to start now with this set. And Hasbro won't even be up their ass because their numbers will look great when Double Masters comes out. That'll be a pile of money for them after they purposely withheld misprints that we need for every other format for like 2 years. Yeah, they're setting themselves up for a disaster. So anyway, moving on to most of these pointless spoilers. So next up, we've got Subira Tulzidi Caravaner. And since they named her, she's legendary, and she's a human shaman, has haste. She is triple red and 2/3. And if you pay 1, another target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. That's what we needed. That's what we needed, is another fucking unblockable red creature. I was just thinking with Embercleave and Torbrand and that new horse shit, we need another Tin Street Dodger / Ginger Brute. Oh, except that those are weak as hell. she can grant it to anything for 1 on the turn that she came out without even paying red. Awesome, great, exactly what we needed. Plus, if you paid 2 and tap her, which you can do the turn she comes out because she has haste, discard your entire hand, which, will be 0 cards, let's be honest. And then when a creature you control with power 2 or less deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So in other words, refill your entire hand in your stupid bullshit Cavalcade deck. Wonderful. That is just absolutely fucking great. Oh, and remember, just because Torbrand's in play and just because it's hitting for more than 2 doesn't mean its power actually is more than 2. What a broken, overpowered pile of shit. Next up, Spore Silkweaver. I wonder if it'll be a spider with reach. Oh, look, it's a spider and it has reach. Also, hexproof from blue. Whenever this shitty card is dealt damage, gain 1 life and create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. Well, it is a 1/4. You might be able to get away with it. Honestly, throw out a 1/1 Death Toucher for 1. You get more mileage out of it. They just threw this in because they felt bad about blue-white flyers being in the draft environment. Next up, Celestial Executioner. It's a 3-cost white 2/3 human cleric with pay 2, tap it, and tap target creature. Activate this ability only if you control a creature with flying. Wow, needlessly specific filler jank garbage. Next up, apparently none of these are in English. It's Saber-Tooth Mauler, hopefully. It's a creature, it's a cat, it's a 3/3 for 4. Already unplayable, don't care what it says. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, put a 1/1 counter on it and untap it. Yeah, not good enough. You have it coming in as a 10/10, it'll be more power appropriate for the standard meta right now. Alright, we've got Thieves Guild Enforcer, 1/1 for 1, creature human rogue with flash. Oh good, we needed another flash creature, thanks. And when this card or another rogue enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 2 cards. Wonderful. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in the graveyard, it gets +2/+1 and has Death Touch. That's exactly the type of upgrade that I was just hoping that we would get in an Ashiod delay mill deck. Was a Death Toucher with natural mill. I don't think anybody's going to put 12 rogues in it though, so we're not exactly, in trouble here. But that deck is so fucking annoying already. Any attempt at an upgrade I find offensive. Next up, we've got Truffle Snout. If you didn't know the history, people use pigs to sniff out truffles because they can do it better than dogs for some reason. I have my doubts. So it's a 2/2 for 3, and when it enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on it or gain 4 life. Wow, we're just getting all the filler today. What is with all the green life gain? They gotta be planning something. They gotta be putting something together here. So next up, we've got Gormand, allegedly. That seems like a couple too many symbols for something as unusual and hard to translate from English, but okay, I'll take the word for it. It's a 6-cost demon for 5, it's a 5/5/6, whatever. You see the card. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sack a creature. It has flying and trample. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacks a creature. Great. Another sacrifice effect that you can't stop. On top of Liliana, Doom Foretold, and probably 6 more I'm forgetting. Hexproof doesn't mean shit. Indestructible doesn't mean shit. And you are never going to keep anything in play ever. Awesome. Next up, we've got Conclave Mentor, a Selesnya card that's like 2 years late. It's a 2/2 for 2, and of course, because Mark Rosewater is an idiot, if 1 or more 1/1 counters would be put on a creature you control, that many +1 1/1 counters are put on that creature instead. Remember when Hardened Skills was like $15 because it was so degenerate and broken? Here it is! But wait! When it dies, you gain life equal to its power! This in a proliferate deck would be virtually unbeatable, except that good luck keeping even one of those creatures in play for more than 6 seconds. You can't. Not against the top 5 decks right now. You can't. You literally cannot even compete with creatures. Dead on arrival card. Sorry. Next up, we got Tempered Veteran. And he unfortunately is a creature, which means once again, completely unplayable. Right now, I don't know if you noticed, you have to win with planeswalkers or enchantments or don't even show up to the game. But if you pay 1 white and tap him, put a 1/1 counter on target creature with a 1/1 counter on it, which then you're really putting all your eggs in one basket. That's just stupid. And then if you pay 6, you can tap it and put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Why would you pay 6 mana to do something that stupid? I fully expected to say on every creature you control. They have cards cheaper than this that will, on a recurring basis, put a 1/1 counter on every single creature you control. Wow, this is filler garbage. Next up, Wildwood Scourge. It's a 0/0 green X Hydra. Because Hydras are never problematic in $10+ cards in Standard. Never. That never happens. So Wildword Scourge enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. Whenever one or more 1/1 counters are put on another non-Hydra creature you control, put a 1/1 counter on Wildword Scourge. And they get blown up by a board wiper sack ability. So it looks good, but you're not going to be able to play it. Next up, Feline Sovereign. It's a 2/3 for 3. Other cats you control get +1/+1 and have protection from dogs. And whenever one or more cats you control deals combat damage to a player, destroy up to one target artifact or enchantment that player controls. That would be nice, except that those decks like Doom Foretold, enchantment mill-out decks, 4-color control planeswalker decks, Dance of the Mance, they all have padding. You're never going to get this to work. You are never going to hit them with a creature. You're never going to keep a creature in play for more than a turn. Don't even try Cat Tribal. Next up, Miscast. It's a 1-cost blue counterspell. That'll go over well. And counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 3. That's actually kind of concerning for formats that aren't standard. And this is a brand new card. It's not a reprint. I don't know shit about Legacy and Vintage other than a counterspell that costs 1 is probably pretty good. But once again, just like the other 5 cards that do the same damn thing, this is beyond useless past about turn 5 because they're just going to pay it. I don't like unreliable counterspells. That said, that being, 2 mana less than a 3 mana counterspell, that's pretty significant. When you just shave off 1 mana, just pay the extra mana and counter everything all the time reliably. Next up, we've got a 5-cost blue pin down aura. Oh, this'll go well. Enchant creature. You can't choose an untapped creature as the spell's target. As you cast it, you control enchanted creature. Oh, wonderful. It's actually a stealer spell. Should have known. So you can't choose an untapped creature. You basically have to get hit by it once or have it tapped for some other reason. That's safe. And then, I guess when this goes away, they get it back because the you control it part would be gone. Well, nobody plays creatures. Everybody's playing Doom Foretold Super Friends, so it doesn't really fucking matter. Oh, obviously except one deck where they'll just sacrifice it with Witch's Oven. The second you target it. Next up, we got Liliana Swamp. Oh boy, a cool looking land in a set that nobody's gonna buy because they're a bunch of paranoid SJW snowflake douchebags. And it's a standard product when standard is completely unplayable. And 90% of these cards are dead on arrival because of power creep and the rest are just broken shit that nobody wants to see or play with or against. So good luck selling this product, you assholes. Next up, Liliana Stewart. It's a 1/2 for 2. It's a creature zombie, and if you sack it, target opponent discards a card. Oh, we needed one more of those effects in the game, thanks. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. Fantastic. I can't wait to get hit by this and then have it immediately resurrected by Luris and get hit by it in the next turn. On the same turn that the asshole hits me with Thought Erasure and then Yarok's Fenlurker. Because that deck just was not quite toxic enough yet. They needed to add this to it. Add that to the ban list. Next up, we got Liliana's Devotee. 2/3 for 3. And zombies you control get +1/+0. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, you may pay 2 mana, 1 black, 1 regular, and if you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Too weak, too slow, relies on creatures to win. So next up, we've got Liliana Standard Bearer. It's a 3/1 for 3, Zombie Knight with Flash. How could that possibly have Flash? What about that screams Flash? It looks like the slowest damn thing I've ever seen in my life. The Undead, known for their lightning fast speed and ability to use teleport magic. That makes sense. So, when Liliana Standard Bearer enters the battlefield, draw X cards where X is the number of creatures that died under your control this turn. Not a good enough recovery in my opinion. Just run Midnight Reaper. I mean, yeah, they won't see it coming, but who cares? You try this bullshit after they wipe the board, they're just going to counterspell you, and then you're going to lose everything. At least with Midnight Reaper, it can simultaneously trigger when they blow up everything along with it. Because they will, because you can't play creatures anymore. Next up, Tolarian Kraken. It's a 6-cost 4/6 and blue creature, giant, basically unplayable. Whenever you draw a card, you may pay 1 colorless. When you do, you may tap or untap target creature. Who gives a shit? Next up, Brash Hunter. It's a 5-cost 1/1 goblin with indestructible. Oh god, I'm sure you can't possibly do anything degenerate with this. I'm sure nobody will ever figure out something completely broken and ridiculous that you can do with this. Don't waste your time, they're just going to make you sack it. Whenever Brash Hunter is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. Oh good, it's Stuffy Doll or whatever the that card was. And then if you pay 3 and tap it, it fights another creature, so this is like Stuffy Doll on steroids. This card may as well have been named Find Some Degenerate Shit to Do with This Card Goblin. So we're only 133 cards out of 274 into this set. This overpowered, broken upgrade to every existing Toxic Tier 1 deck in existence right now that they're dumping into the biggest dumpster fire in the history of the game. aka the standard meta. I cannot wait for the next ban announcement. Maybe they'll attempt to fix something, probably not. And just in case you're a delusional idiot or you don't play Arena or you're gonna try and comment on the state of standard without actually participating in it, let me just remind you. According to a website that refuses to cite its sources and is usually wrong, 35% of the meta is black, red, barely green sacrifice. It's the Witch's Oven cat horseshit with more death triggers and bullshit added. So if you think, oh, I'll just, remove whatever I need and then get that out of the way and then play my deck. No, you try and remove it, they'll just sack it. Board wipe it, they'll just come back. They probably got death triggers on it anyway. That deck's virtually unbeatable. It has almost no interaction. And the only way that you win is when they forfeit on turn 2 when you exile their Witch's Oven. Then in second place, we got blue, red, green reclamation decks. Oh, that's still a thing. Unlimited mana, expansion explosion, win the game. Yeah, that's still a thing right now. Second best deck in the world, apparently. Then in third place, we've still got a Yorion deck. Wonderful. It's the Teferi Omen thing. They just bounce everything, reset the Planeswalkers, and just try to Super Friends you out of the game. It's completely non-interactive, and if you think you have a hope of winning with a creature, you do not. Nothing is staying in play for more than 2 turns. Nothing. Then we've got in fourth place the deck that idiots keep saying, not that hard of a deck to beat. 3-color cycling. I don't know how the fuck it's 3-color. Somehow somebody jammed blue in it. Whatever. If you can empty the graveyard, cool, you'll do it just in time to lose to the Stinger killing you and getting flooded by 1/1s generated by that stupid 3/1, and then if you wipe the board, well then you're just feeding the graveyard quicker and the first Zenith Flare is going to kill you instantly. 15 damage plus, instantly. You know why? Because most of the creatures you just killed and put in the graveyard have cycling. You literally cannot stop this deck unless it's a graveyard clearing board wipe deck, dedicated to just killing cycling. They need to ban Zenith Flare and they need to ban it right f***ing now. Then we've got mono red aggro, can't forget about that horse shit. Then we've got the black, blue, green deck that runs Uro and just bounces him and I've seen versions that clone stuff and it's unreal. It's just a list of shit that should be banned. We got Hydroid Crisis, Uro, Pelokronos. Who would run that? Narset, Tamio, Vraska, Nissa, Aether Gust, Growth Spiral, Thought Erasure, Tyrant Score, and Extinction Event and Casualties of War. Literally the entire spell list is removal. And then they just win with 1 card. Then we've got Red Green Embercleave. That one's a real treat. Then still in the top 8, we've got Mono Red Cavalcade because duh. Any gimmicky turn 4-5 shit, of course somebody's going to play it because, some of the decks are too slow to catch this, and if you go first, it's a free win. Then we've got 3-color Teferi Rampe Super Friends. Love that one. The entire spell list is Aether Gust, Dovin's Veto, Growth Spiral, Mystical Dispute, Neutralize, and Shatter the Sky. What a treat to play against that. And technically the one artifact is Glass Casket, which might as well be a removal spell. Because it is. Well, it's a removal ETB effect, but it's a removal spell, let's be honest. Who are they kidding? This is just another Uro deck. They run 4 of it. And it's got Yorion too, because, can't forget that. And even if they banned all of that, let's move on to the 10th deck, Temur Adventures, aka Blue, Red, Green Adventures with Edgewall Innkeeper and Beanstalk Giant, Lovestruck Beast, all those treats. The bullshit Lucky Clover, they should have banned Edgewall Innkeeper a long time ago. People still play it, people still win with it. How a Risen Reef Elemental deck didn't make it to the top of the list is just evidence that they don't know what the hell they're talking about and they don't know where to get proper stats from. They usually get these results from tournaments. They should get them from all MTGO stats put together, but they don't have access to that. So I played against Risen Reef 7 times today. Okay, so I'm going to take a wild guess it's still popular and people are still winning with it. I mean, they don't even have Winota on there. They don't even have Rakdos Sacrifice. I know for a fact those are in the top 5. So those are all the toxic decks, and now they're trying to launch something new into that shit while simultaneously taking every single deck I just mentioned and giving it 1 or 2 upgraded cards. That is the specific extensive reason that I am not excited about this set at all, and I have a little bit of a negative outlook about it, just a little tiny bit. And if you don't play Standard right now, but you feel like you can comment on it and say I'm wrong, shut the hell up. Standard is unplayable. Remember, I read every single comment, and I'd say for the last month, pretty much every video I have has about 3 to 5 comments saying I'm quitting Magic, fuck this, or I'm quitting Standard, or I'm quitting Arena. Between those 3 comments, about 3 to 5, sometimes 10 of those comments per video, every single day. If I was Wizards of the Coast, I would be really fucking concerned right now. In fact, I would walk into the company Monday morning and just start firing people. Just, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. Who else? Who designed this? You're out. You're in R&D? Cool. Bye. Pack it up. Then I would cancel M21, apologize to the customer base, ban 30 cards, and then say we're powering back down standard to something that's actually tolerable. That would be a start to fixing the game. Just the first steps. Do you think they're going to do that, or are they too busy looking through 35,000 cards for something that could vaguely be misconstrued as racist? I could only imagine how much staff they actually allocated to that. They probably hired Anita Sarkeesian as a contractor. They should. She sees racism everywhere, even in places that it isn't, and then lies about it. She's the perfect person for the job. So 4 months, aka 1 standard rotation, plus about 10 bans on top of it, we might be able to play this game again. Until then, I'm playing Brawl and a bunch of side events, and any game that isn't Magic. They ruined it. I used to enjoy Magic. I'm pissed, and it is 100% Wizards' fault, mostly Mark Rosewater and Aaron Forsythe. They need to go. If you don't fire him now, wait until you see my video later today about all the racist bullshit that Mark did. He even tried to cover his tracks, but, well, the internet doesn't forget. Don't forget to hit subscribe to hear about Wizards' racist hiring policies, some of the insensitive jokes they made at the company, reports about the dead-ass 0 black people that work there, and a bunch of racist shit that Mark said. I hope it ends up costing him his job and his entire career. He deserves it. I'll see you guys next video. Should be a pretty good one.